fast, and may Allah Azza wa Jal elevate your rank in this life and the next. Allahumma ameen. We're blessed to have you with us, and we're again grateful to you as a community. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you.
Ameen. Jazakallah khair. It's أضعف الإيمان, bare minimum.
Allah yabarak fikum. So on that note, you're saying it's the weakest of iman, the weakest of faith. Actually, the weakest of faith is to hate it in your heart. You did something more than that, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, which is taking matters into your own hands. You spoke up, and I think that many people in these times are looking for someone to not just say what they're feeling, but to say what they're feeling in spaces where things are happening. And so I actually want to start with that, bidhnillahi ta'ala. For the last 19 months or so, while Gaza is going through what it's going through, may Allah Azza wa Jalla make it easy for them all, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them patience and steadfastness and victory. Allahumma ameen. While that's happening, what's it like working at Microsoft? How long have you been at Microsoft? And seeing what's happening behind the scenes, while this is all being generated, and at the same time that destruction is filling your screen on the other side. What's happening in your world for the last 19 months before what we all saw happen a few days ago?
So yeah, over the past year and a half, I imagine, just like for many Muslims, it's been a lot of feelings of anguish, just watching all the destruction, all the murdering that's been occurring in Gaza. And I think for me that was amplified by tons when it was exposed that Microsoft and other big tech companies during this time have been selling weapons to the Israeli military. Earlier in 2025, it was revealed that the usage of Microsoft cloud services multiplied by 200 since October 7th. So there is a clear direction, a clear correlation between the start of the genocide escalation and then Microsoft's contracts with the Israeli military. And for me, it was just this insane cognitive dissonance between using all my sujood dua time to pray for Palestine, to pray for Gaza, and then wake up the next morning and work at a company that I have evidence is contributing to that suffering. It did not feel right. It felt like a dissonance between my going to protests on weekends, making dua, and then just having my 9 to 5 be at a place that enables this genocide. So it was a very, subhanAllah, an immense dissonance that was just accompanied by a lot of anguish and guilt during my time at the company since the reports.
How long have you been at Microsoft, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, it was for 3.5 years. And I would say in the last half year is when we fully uncovered the extent of the ties between Microsoft and the IOF.
And I think that one of the things that, we spoke about yesterday was the idea that it's often one person who becomes a symbol of many others. And there are others who have been fired by Microsoft, been fired, of course, by big tech companies, those that have quit out of conscience. But this is now a growing trend, right, of people that work in these companies that refuse to be silent, that refuse to be complicit by themselves writing the code, as you said, of genocide, or being a part of developing the machinery and closing their eyes to this reality. Can you tell me, on the inside of Microsoft, on the inside of some of these companies, what are you sensing about that same dissonance that many other practicing Muslims or just people of principle are feeling right now?
Yeah, I think I have, prior to even the disruption that happened last week, a few weeks ago, I posted something in the Muslims group inside Microsoft about just this dissonance and this internal conflict, just asking people if others also feel that they cannot continue contributing to the company given its contributions to the genocide. And I received so many messages from people just sharing that they've been feeling the same way, but there's often sentiments of fear if you speak up, just the repercussions on your job, on your future career. A lot of people have expressed that they also, every single day, do not feel okay just doing their job at this company, but that at the same time, they're not sure what they can do because they feel hope that they can change things from the inside. So I realized that it is a very widespread sentiment after making that post and getting private messages. So subhanallah, it's definitely something that's been building up, like this whole discontent with Microsoft's relationship. And inshallah, we're hoping that after this action and the way it went public, that we can all collectively, as Muslims in Microsoft or big tech, use our voices to share this frustration and bi'idhnillah improve the state of the complicity of these companies.
Inshallah ta'ala. Also, what I'd like to ask you in this regard then is that at what point did you spiritually make the decision, emotionally prepare yourself for the consequences? At what point did you decide you were going to do this? Tell me about like when and what's happening in the background for you. What are you listening to? What are you getting ready with? What du'as are you reading? What's happening on the day of? Just kind of walk me through the lead up to that moment, inshallah ta'ala, spiritually for you, if you don't mind me asking.
For me, like a big trigger that just meant, okay, this is right. This is the right thing to do was this event that Vanya and I disrupted was on a restricted basis. Like you had to enter a raffle and like there were conditions to be able to access it. And like when I submitted my raffle entry to the event, during the like all the days between submitting the entries and then hearing back, I was just praying istikhara every night for Allah to just make this whole disruption plan and easy if it is the right thing. Like every single night, I would just after Isha pray istikhara, and then a few days later, out of like many people that had like submitted to get access to the event, I got access, and to me that was just a sign that after like 7 days of istikhara, you know that Allah is placing me in this position where I can speak for the oppressed. That for me was just a sign to go ahead with it. This is what I must do to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and use my voice for justice as He instructed us. So that was like I would say the main trigger that just set things on that path. And then because the event was in Eid week, that meant that all the work for planning for it, doing all the email writing happened in the month of Ramadan. And throughout Ramadan as well, I want to say like more than half of my tahajjud du'as, which was just for Allah to ease every step of the process. Like I would just pray, Allahumma yassir kull khatwa fi hadhihi al-mudahara every single day. And just throughout the month of Ramadan, things kept lining up in a way that was incredible. Like we were not expecting to know like the setup, for example, and then we received that information. There was I was connected with someone helping with like communications to Muslims of big tech, which is exactly something else that I wanted to like email within the company. Like things just kept lining up, subhanallah, to make this planning for the action so smooth that I felt it in my heart that Allah was on our side and Allah was guiding us to be put in this position of protest. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And so you then find yourself walking into the event. You know, when someone's about to speak, a lot of times they would say, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Like I can think of the nervousness about giving a khutbah in a very large masjid or speaking to a large gathering, or, you know, being at a protest, right? That maybe things are a bit unsettling around. But in your situation, I can imagine that it probably felt very lonely when you walked in, right? And that, was there any anxiety? Was there anything that sort of came to mind? Did you feel a sudden sense of tranquility? Were you settled at some point? What happens then in those few minutes, which I'm sure feel like an eternity, right before you actually stand up and do what you did?
Yeah, it was, I can't lie and say it was not nerve-wracking in the moment when I realized, okay, the speaker is on stage. I have 5 minutes to get up and disrupt. But as you mentioned, just like the whole time I was just muttering, ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي, just repeating that. And also, I think throughout Ramadan, like this past Ramadan has been horrendous in Gaza. Like, as we all know, like things have re-escalated. We've been seeing even more destruction than the months prior to that, and also just the fact that this Ramadan coincided with the Barzakh series being out, and just constantly having that daily reminder of the oppression that's been inflicted in Gaza. I think just having like grounding myself in the why, like why am I here? Why am I about to stand up and do this and potentially face some repercussions? I think that grounding just limited that barrier between the intention and then the execution. Like I think just and that week especially was we had been seeing like some horrible images coming out of Gaza. So just having that grounding in mind that this is for for a purpose, it is necessary, and then just muttering like calling to Allah and who has been on our side for the past month. I think I did not even feel that I had stood up and that I was by the stage, honestly. Like it just happened, and it was not until I was escorted out that I started like processing it. Like it, yeah, truly, like Allah just like gave that energy to just get up and get the words out there.
You know, subhanAllah, one of the things about the people of Gaza, when you're watching them on camera, whether they're holding their babies in pieces or they're facing their last moments of life, whatever the scene around them, it's always been, subhanAllah, confounding to me, like, or inspiring, the fact that even in their pain, they're actually incredibly eloquent. Like they convey their emotions, they convey their sentiments with perfection. Even in those moments, subhanAllah, you have a few words to choose in a very difficult moment in your life. Even the fact that people will say, La ilaha illallah, the paramedic who's being murdered amongst those many paramedics, may Allah have mercy on them all and accept them as shuhada, Rif'at, and he's still, subhanAllah, not just saying the shahada, but he's expressing the perfect words. And that to me was a sign, or is a further sign, of the fact that Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one who moves the tongues if he moves the hearts properly. Did you have like a script prepared for those moments? Or did you feel like it was just, you know what, I'm going to disrupt? Because there's so many things you can't account for. What's the security guard going to do? Is someone going to put hands on me? Am I going to get dragged out? Like there's so many things that in that moment you can't account for. Did you have it rehearsed already? Because the words that you chose were absolutely perfect for the moment.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. So, yeah, as you mentioned, it wasn't clear how many seconds I would even get to speak, right, given the security at the event. So I did, like, again, like during the month of Ramadan when all this planning was happening, I spent a lot of time with other organizers as well, just trying to get to the point specifically, like having short, targeted sentences that are possibly like 6 words, but convey a lot and can make an impact on the audience at the event and on the executives in front of us. So for sure, like I went in with specific talking points that I wanted to get out there, but obviously in the moment with all the hecticness, like some things just came out of the heart, like they were not specifically planned, and especially seeing the like more dismissive reaction of just I hear you, which is what we keep hearing from this company. It's like just getting that same reaction again. Just that was the moment where like I just threw the kafia and I was just like, you have blood on your hands. Like some parts of it just occurred in the moment, but a big chunk of it was rehearsed to